Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Jermell and Jermall Charlo. Look, some people think that these guys are going to lose their next fights. They say the man is out to get them. The man wants them out of boxing. People, do you really believe that the system is trying to get these twins out of boxing? The infamous Charlo twins. They say they want them out of boxing. They say no one likes them because they're vocal. They think they have attitudes. They think they're arrogant. They think they're bad for the company, basically. They say they're just passionate. They just believe in their skills. They've been doing this boxing thing for a long time. Both of them have dedicated themselves to the sport, committed themselves to being beyond excellent. So they feel they get treated unfairly. As a result, that's why they misplace their self-government from time to time and raise hell at every opportunity. Now, my thing is this. With Jermell and Jermall, if they get into a close fight, do we think that they will get robbed? I don't think so. If the fight's close, the fight's close. Now let's look at a couple things, okay? With Jermell, right? He's the one on the right. He's the one that doesn't have a tattoo on his chest. I can now tell them apart because, man, they look damn exactly alike. But now that I'm looking at this picture, you can kind of make out which one is which. But them boys look, they say, oh, well, because they're identical twins. No, not all identical twins look like the damn imprint of each other. These boys look alike. So this is the thing. You look at Jermell with Harrison, right? When he fought Tony Harrison in that first fight. Jermell beat him, but it was a close fight. Some people say he got robbed. I think it was a close fight, but he beat him. He did beat him. Now, his brother Jermall fought him that same night. I'm not even going to butcher the guy's last name that he fought, okay? Jermall lost that fight. So I don't care what nobody says. He lost that fight. And they gave him the win. Now, in that situation, the wrong twin lost the fight, the wrong twin won the fight. Okay? So it's hard for me to say that the system, is going to set these guys up for failure and looking for an opportunity to put another loss on Jermell's record and put the first loss on Jermall's. I do think that the system, isn't looking out for the best interest when it comes to sponsorship, when it comes to endorsement deals, okay? And that's because these guys need to just reel it in a little bit. Set the drag on that line, man. Don't worry about, I know they got the big fishes out there in Texas. You don't need to let it run like that. Set the drag and reel that attitude in, reel that pride in, reel that passion in a little bit. I'm not saying overhaul who you are as an individual, but, there's a time and place. You can't be out there, man, going, 100 miles an hour in 6th, 7th, 8th gear every time we see you, and then making these grand charges at every opponent who you want to fight or you feel said something about you, but they're not doing anything. People stop taking you serious, man. And these guys, I don't know who is involved in these guys in their careers, right? Yeah, you can say, well, they've won in life. You guys have money. They have all the materialistic things and not sure what they're doing business-wise. Hopefully they're making some intelligent moves. I get it. But learn from Floyd Mayweather's mistakes. You can say, well, what mistakes did Floyd made? He ended up a billionaire. Right. But he chose to be a bit stubborn. Now, you got to remain true to who you are. I truly believe that. Like Adrian Broner, he's who he is. It is what it is. I respect that. But when it comes to sponsorship deals, endorsement deals, I think the Charlo boys have got themselves mixed up in something positive a couple of years back. But I don't know what else is going on. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know they were on a talk show. I don't know. I can't remember whose talk show it was, but they were on there. It wasn't Steve Harvey, but they were talking about something. And I was like, these boys are getting out their comfort zone. And I just thought that was amazing because it's one thing to have boxing brothers be champions, undefeated, dominating the sport. There's another thing to have twins. And there's nothing to have identical twins that look exactly alike. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel that, if they had the right person say, look, you guys be who you are and be passionate, but let's tone down the profanity and some of the inappropriate language. And let's figure out a different way where we can still, speak with passion, get our point across, let our quills come out from time to time. But we don't need to let the ignorance come out because that scares people. And it scares big money away from you. Floyd Mayweather wasn't quite obnoxious and ignorant like that, but he was a talker and wanted to do things his way. Floyd went on and he was very successful at that, and that's great. But for these other guys, I just think they're missing an opportunity. They're missing an opportunity. Like what? Look at the uniqueness of their situation. Twins. And I don't talk about race, you know what I mean, but just them two being, two minorities. And just the example that they could set across the world, I mean, on an international scale, the influence they can have over so many people, because people are going to be intrigued with them for multiple reasons. But the main thing that's going to catch people's attention is like it catches all of our attention if we're out and about, is the damn twins. Then these boys can really fight. And and they're champions, they have all the ingredients that you want to build a superstar crossover appeal. But attitude is everything in life, people. Attitude, this is my opinion, attitude is everything. Second most important is communication. Third most important is being responsible. Fourth most important is discipline. Those things. Now you may say have it in a different order, but that's my order, okay? The attitude, communication, being responsible, and being disciplined. Look at their attitudes. What would you say about their attitudes? Jermell, a little more crazy, right? But the attitudes aren't the best. And this is like positive, constructive feedback that someone needs to give them. Communication. They have no problem expressing their feelings. So they're not going to suffer in silence, but look at the delivery. So it needs some improvement in that area. Being responsible. I would say they're pretty responsible. I haven't seen any. Now, for the actions and being reckless and careless, we could slam them for that. But overall, great fathers, great husbands, great sons. So there's a lot of other areas we got to look at. We're talking about responsibility. It's easy to slam them and be hard on them and be negative. But I would say overall responsibility, we check that box, okay? And last one is discipline. Again, discipline. Very broad area. Some areas are discipline. Getting trained, getting in shape for a fight. Outside and getting into shit with people and talking and running up on them and trying to fight and wanting to talk about pulling guns and shooting this, that, running up the road, biting people. Like, that's lack of discipline, man. And that's what I think you're going to get these boys in trouble at some point. And that, we look at it holistically, can hurt them from really doing something spectacular. Them being twins is the impetus. Boxing is the vessel. And then the freedom land where they can get financially is right there waiting for them to get there. But they can only fuel that vessel with the right attitude, right communication, right responsibility, right amount of discipline. And that's frustrating for me to watch that because it's like, man, it would have been, I'm not 19, 20, 30 no more. You know what I'm saying? But back then, I had a good head on my shoulders, but I made a lot of mistakes, especially up to about age 28, 29. You know what I mean? I'm very lucky. Dodged a lot of bullets, to put it to you that way. But when I see these guys, it's just, I just want to get your hands on them and just take everything you've learned in your time, my time on this earth, and just put it out there to them, to see them make that 180 and shoot up the ladder. But with them going into these fights, there's a lot of people who look at it the way I explained it, but they're not going to be understanding. They're just going to turn their back on him. And, with these guys going to this big fight this weekend, like Jermell, then Charlo's going up against Selecki. Selecki's no slouch. He should not beat Jermall Charlo. Okay, it just shouldn't happen. But the man's 30 wins, 2 losses, 11 KOs. You know what I mean? He's about the same size as Charlo. He can crack. And, he got in there and he beat down Rosado. Rosado almost knocked him out. So he's chinny. If Jermall cracks him, he should get him out of there. Demetrius Andrade almost got him out of there. So Selecki should be an easy win for Jermall. But if these guys let things go to the judges and they don't start to change the way they see life and thinking that, the whole world's against them, the man is going to get them. And the man is going to start giving them some losses and close decisions. They better work on changing a few things to improve their chances of long-term success. They've been doing great in boxing, but I want to see that they set themselves up more than what they have already when they get ready to transition and become, a regular person. And I just think sometimes when guys get to the other side and they look back, they're like, well, I could have done this, I could have done that. And they have the opportunity to affect change right now. But getting robbed in those fights, I'm telling you, with Jermell better watch out this weekend with Castano because there's a lot of eyes on that fight. People looking at him. A lot of people really just don't like these guys, man. And I in particular like them. I understand their passion. I've been very vocal at one point in my life. I still can be. Don't know if I don't carry on like that anymore, but I know how it is. I mean, I get it. But not everybody's going to want to understand you and get you and try to help you. I'm different, man. But I just think these boys getting close fights. They've dodged a couple bullets already. Jermall dodged that one when he won, when he really lost, when he fought against, I think his name begins with a K. I just don't want to butcher his name. He dodged that bullet. That was on the same fight card where Jermell fought Harrison and lost. Then Jermell came back and dodged a bullet with Castano. He got the draw. But really, some people feel like he lost that fight. I mean, 8 out of 12 rounds, the man outlands you. I mean, y'all look at that. But Jermell did hurt him a couple of times. Got a little 10-8 round out of a judge. So I think if they continue to have close fights, the man is going to get them. And I ain't talking about the other man. I'm talking about the man, the system, the person who controls the money. And if they decide to go for these boys juggling veins, they got to blame themselves. So to me, they need to make those refinements, change those attitudes, get everything in line, and go on out there and continue to be great. Seize this opportunity while they have it. Because the Houston Hammers are going to get their asses nailed to the cross if they continue with their BS antics. And they better not keep taking it out the ring, or they're going to end up in the joint. And I'd hate to see that happen to them, man. Young, talented fellas, man. In great shape, man. Look at their physique, streamlined physiques. They're 6'1". I mean, just great-looking guys, man. Athletes, beautiful families. There's no need to have a harbor around all that anger, man. Cut it out. I mean, look at Mike Tyson. That man made a few changes. Actually, he overhauled who he was. Like he took everything, shook it out, and twisted it back up, sat it down, man. He did his best to get as much as he could of those bad qualities out of him to come back and try to be a decent human being. And every day he's working at it. Because at the end of the day, what's in you is in you. It just remains dormant. Somebody pushed the right buttons, that crap will surface. And that's the same thing that's how it is with a lot of people. I'm like that too. But Mike Tyson's a good example. He's out here, man, hugging babies, people wrestling, hugging people, shaking hands, giving away money. Tyson's like a teddy bear, right? You mess with him, and that what's in him, what remains dormant, will surface. Now you got Crocodile Tyson, you got Chupacabra Tyson, you got what's that thing, man? The Sasquatch Tyson. Tyson coming and cracking you up like ghetto concrete, man. So there's no need to, don't think that these guys can't change. I think they can, but I do feel like when it comes to boxing, people don't want to deal with no more Adrian Broner's, man. And that's just how it is. They just don't want to deal with the crap no more. And these boys better figure it out. They still have an opportunity to continue to do great things in boxing, but I just think outside of boxing, there's just a huge window of opportunity for them if they can just make a few refinements, man, and really, tweak their vision, put a different lens on, see life, and they're going to see, man, just how beautiful of an opportunity they have in front of them. Like, these guys have everything right in front of them. They just have to go. They just have to execute, but they choose not to. But anyway, man, that's my 2 cents on these guys. I really do feel like they're going to get themselves robbed, or they're going to lose some fights if they continue with the nonsense. At the end of the day, these organizations want champions to be an example to their belts. You know what I mean? To their organization. And you can look at like a guy like De La Hoya. Was a great example, right? Everything on the surface with De La Hoya seemed phenomenal. Over time, we got to see what was really at that man's core, right? The man had problems. And I think it all goes back to just not, losing his mom as a young age, as close to his mom, and he hasn't gotten over that. That's rough stuff, man. But you see that it's like the attitude, though. He seemed to have the communication was there. The responsibility was there. The discipline, it all seemed there. And that guy was a marketing team's dream. But you come here with these guys who on the surface are more like, whoa, they're on the edge. What are they going to do next? But when you get to their core, you see that these guys are great human beings. But sometimes people can't get beyond the exterior, man. And, some weak human beings out there like that. But there are other people, has nothing to do with being a weak or strong human being. It's like, you're talking about money. I want to give you money, but how can I give you money and you're acting like that? So I just think the right teams need the right guys in the team need to be there talking to them and understand that they're going to get robbed in their next fight sooner or later because, a lot of people think a kind of way about them and they feel everybody hates them. So the man is going to get him. They keep saying it. They're going to speak it into existence. The man will get him. But I just think these guys here are exceptional talents. I hope they change some of those attitudes so they can go on out there, man, and keep doing great things. But let me know your 2 cents. Do you think that these guys are hated by everyone? Do you think they've created their own misery? Or do you think they're just passionate and nobody should hold anything against them? And do you feel that, there's somebody out there with a big black trench coat, black gloves, with a big black bucket hat like me with black shades, sitting back in the dark corner with a black light swinging over his head? The man trying to get at these Charlo boys. Leave your 2 cents below. I appreciate your support. Like and subscribe. Charlo, the Houston Hammers, back in action. One this week and the other one coming up. Matter of fact, when's the other one coming up? June 18th. Jermall, June 18th. And I can't wait to see them boys fight. I enjoy watching them fight. That being said, y'all keep cool. And as always, you know what it is. I'm in the breeze.